everyone, welcome back, or if you're new to my channel, I'm Nessie and this is my show, Makeover My Home. You may have already recognised where we are. That's right, we're in Lucky Palms, the world inspired by Las Vegas, and the special version of this world actually comes with a casino, which is very cool, and that's on the Sims store. So the home we'll be making over today belongs to the Ross family.
Unagi.
So Phoenix gave us a call to surprise his wife Marissa with a makeover, saying their house needs a bit of an update. They've got a Spanish style house, but they prefer a sort of fresher take on it with more colour. So let's see if we can do just that. As you can see, they've got quite a cute house really, and I really like the sort of style, but inside it definitely could do with some work. They've got a little kids room there, which is actually for their daughter, and the other thing I noticed straight away was the massive hallway, which isn't being used very efficiently, so let's see if we can fix that. So my first plan is to turn the hallway into a dining room. This is my little inspiration plan. So we've got cacti, some nice wooden flooring and furniture, and I just want to, make it look a bit more colourful as well. So because I challenge myself to work within their budget, I do tend to do a lot of recolouring, repurposing of the current furniture. Like those columns, I sold a couple but kept a couple just to keep a bit of the original character, and to not spend too much. So I'm just trying to figure out a way to do that within their means really. So this is going to be the new dining table. That is from the EA store. I think it was called the Hacienda set or something, so that's sort of meant to be inspired by Spanish furniture, so I thought it was quite an appropriate thing to put in their house for the look that they're going for. And these chairs are from the Sims resource. I've added a bit of blue, and I actually think that the colour blue kind of runs throughout this house when I redo it, just because it was one of the colours I picked up as quite a sort of Spanish style. So I'm just going to pick out a new sort of light to give this room a bit more character, and I've gone with these little chandeliers. I used two of them just because some spaces in Sims aren't lit up well enough just with the one light. It's just, I think the lighting isn't great in Sims, so I put this little console table in. That's CC, but if you don't have CC or other console tables, I'd suggest looking at the Sims 3 Supernatural pack. That comes with some cute console tables, and then this picture that I've put in, it's not like the most fantastic picture, but because we're in Lucky Palms, this is actually one of the main pieces of artwork that comes with this world. So I just wanted to tie it in with that, and literally nearly every house in the whole of this world actually has that picture with a different design, which there's like a few options. So I thought I'd stick to that and just add it in for a bit of character. And then I already mentioned in my inspiration pictures I've got the cacti, so I've put them in. And now with the baby's high chair, I've just put a bit of like a sort of plastic area on the wooden parts, just because I can't picture that a baby would find it that comfortable sitting in a fully wooden high chair, so you know, just made that a bit more I suppose realistic, and then get rid of the pie. I do like using that pie as like a decoration, but I just sort of switched it up a bit in this one and used this really cute lemon glass. So that is the final room. It's not too, like, you know, busy, but it's just more a better space than it used to be. So now we're going to move on to the living room. So at the moment there's a lot of green, a lot of red. This is my inspiration, so I'm going to draw in a few more natural materials like the stone wall, that kind of thing, and what I'm doing is I'm just laying out this so I can sort of decide where I'm going to put the stone wall, and then just copy the same pattern over once I'm happy with it, and then I actually put that same pattern on the fireplace, just because that then looks like it's part of the wall, which again I think that's a little bit of more realism. So yeah, in the inspiration picture I also put a lot of pops of colour, just because I think it just brightens up the room. I also lighten up the floor as well, just again to give it a bit more brightness. I think you know, if you ever do a makeover of a room, usually you can go one way or the other. You could go lighter, you know, give it a bit of a refresh, or you could go darker and give it a bit of more of a cozy feel. I still think light rooms can look cozy, but yeah, it's one of those like preference things. So here I've completely switched up the layout. So where I've put the TV area, that used to be the little sort of I suppose office space. These sofas I love, they're from the Sims resource, and I also really like the arch window. Like I think I might have said in my previous home makeover videos that I won't be looking to move doors, move windows, just because if you were making over your space, you're not necessarily gonna go to that extent. So I literally am just sort of recolouring as a maximum on the sort of windows and doors. And what I like to do, which I've done there, is add some different shapes into the room. So we had like quite boxy furniture, so by putting in a like circular sort of poof table with the circular lamp, you just add a bit more definition to the room, because I think if like all your furniture is just like, you know, a rectangle square, it just starts to look a bit like, you know, like it hasn't got much going on with it. So I also used that rug there from I think it was Around the Sims 3, the CC website, which it's actually a Sims 4 to Sims 3 conversion, which I'm loving some of those items. That's really nice, and it's got the touch of blue which has inspired the curtain colour, and then I kept that picture as well that they had hung up, just because I can see that was where a lot of their inspiration from the original decor came from, so I wanted to keep that. I did kind of bear it in mind that if I ran out of money towards the end I would sell it, because I think it's actually worth quite a lot, that picture, but luckily it doesn't come to that, so they can keep their picture as well. So this section I am redoing into a sort of cosy sort of library by the fireplace area. I wouldn't know what it's actually called, but it's just a nice little area where, you know, you can imagine in the cold months, like sitting there with the fireplace on would be really lovely. Again, like putting in a circular table, finding a circular rug, just because you know, adding some different shapes gives the room a bit more interest, especially because the chairs are quite boxy, and then just putting in those flowers. Those flowers again are from that Hacienda set. They're actually one of my favourite little like floral decorations that are in Sims Sims. I know that you can get a lot of nice CC, but I tend to put this flower pot in most of my rooms, and then that mug is CC. I love putting a mug in. I love tea myself, so you know, I force that upon my Sims all the time. So yeah, and just giving them an easel, because as we know, in Sims you want somewhere to, you know, skill up and do all the things that you want to do. So that's just important for this specific makeover, to give them a bit of choice. And so I use the Alt key when I move those bookcases, just because that lets you, you know, you don't have to literally move it to the grid. You've got a bit more freedom. And then I deliberated for a while on what to colour this little sort of window bench as, but I've gone with the sort of brighter kind of orange colour, just because, again, different colours, just, you know, breaking it up a little bit. Hopefully you won't think there's too many colours that are clashing about, because ultimately I want it to, you know, still tie in nicely together and complement the room, but also add a little bit of interest and a bit of a wow factor. You know, if everything's the same, plain white, plain grey, your eye doesn't get drawn to anything. So I think it's nice to have a little bit of variety, and that was what I was going with. And the floral pattern is kind of an inspiration for most things. I don't tend to pick florals, to be honest. It's like sometimes I associate it with like older, sort of old-fashioned style, but I think done well and in the right way, it can look a lot more modern as well. So it depends what you're going for, and the overall sort of look. Now this hat I've put there because I intend to put it on the bench, and I actually downloaded a mod called One More Slot. That mod has been out for years, and I've seen it for years, and I never ever used it. But yeah, I finally thought, you know what, I do want to put stuff in random places that I couldn't before. So yeah, very useful, and that is the living room complete, you know, with all the different spaces. So this is the main bedroom. Phoenix is actually a gamer. I checked his bio and it said that he likes to play games, and they didn't actually originally have any games consoles, so I thought to put it, instead of in the living room, I put it in the bedroom, just because I thought, you know, that can be his little space away. You know, they've got a child, so you know, when he just wants some privacy to play his games, the bedroom might be a nicer place. And I don't know, personally I always, you know, used to love playing my games in my bedroom rather than in the living room, where I know my mum and dad would have probably been like, oh, I want to watch Coronation Street. So, you know, it makes sense to me. This blue shutter doesn't stay there. I experimented quite a bit with how to get that to look right. The shutters I use are CC, and I just think they're really nice. Like, it gives an element of you know, interest to the room, and because I'm not changing the windows, I have to say I'm really not a fan of these sort of I'm not sure, like they're like medieval sort of windows to me, and I wanted to give this, you know, whole house a bit more of a modern feel. So it did bug me a little bit that those are the windows I was working with, but I've tried to distract or use what I can to, you know, decorate around. So that's why I'm putting in some little plants around the window area. I do like to put in plants in pretty much every room. I think you know, in real life it's nice to put plants in rooms just to give it a bit of life, and kind of the plants can go with the theme. Like, you know, these are a bit more exotic sort of plants, so you know, I thought that looks really nice for that style of bedroom. And again, my trusty little blankets and extra pillows, just because it gives a little bit more definition to the bedroom, you know, and you can recolour them a lot more. You know, I've gone again with the floral patterns just to bring in those pops of colours again, and it kind of just complements the whole house, because I'm not saying you should necessarily have the same colours running through each room, but if there's just some element of similarity, like a little pattern, like a hint of colour, you know, the whole house tends to flow better. And then in the end, I really struggle to pick the blanket colour. Kind of did this by accident, but I really liked it. You know, it's got some teals in there. Teal's actually my favourite colour, so I'm hugely biased towards that cover, but I do love it. And then they use this floral pattern as well on the chair. It's a different floral to the bed, so you might think, oh, that's clashy, but I think it's just a really fresh pattern. I do actually tend to download all my patterns from the Sims 3 Exchange. There's someone in the Sims 3 Exchange called Sky Seeker, and she's really good at making these patterns. Like she tends to upload them quite often, and you know, if I'm looking for a theme or just something really high quality, I tend to get them off their studio, so I can highly recommend. And then a lot of the woods that I get patterns, I tend to get them kind of by accident from the Sims resource, because a lot of the sort of new furniture that I download comes with these extra patterns, but they're very nice, you know, wooden effects. Like I think the sort of standard woods that the Sims comes with are a little bit, they just don't have the level of detail I quite like, so I do often use them. And yeah, I'm just like, they already had that sort of room separator, and I'm kind of just giving it a reason to be there now with like an extra sort of getting ready area, I guess, so that, like, you know, the parents can have some privacy if their like child is in the bedroom and they can just get ready in the corner or something. And then those little lanterns I've recently downloaded and absolutely fallen in love with. I believe they again are Sims 4 to Sims 3 conversions, but they are really cute, and a lot of that stuff is very high quality, because I guess realistically Sims 4 graphics are a lot better than Sims 3, so putting that sort of style item in the Sims 3 makes it really good quality, but they're just really cute, so I do quite like using those in my rooms. And then I'm just adding some more decoration to give it a little bit more of an exotic feel in there. This is going to be the sort of gaming TV area for Phoenix, and I downloaded a few sort of separate TVs from the Sims resource, just because a lot of the freedoms that, you know, you want to enjoy putting TVs on different tables, you can't with the current ones that you get with Sims, so that's like a nice little thing I do. And then this is just a sort of wooden wall, sort of like a feature wall, but even though it has quite a nice headboard, I thought just could do with a little bit more detail. So that is the finished master bedroom for the parents, and yeah, just a lot more colour. So moving on to the bathroom now, or should I say bathrooms, because these people have two bathrooms next to each other, which is a little bit bizarre, but you know, I guess what you would use it for is one would be the adults' bathroom and one would be the kids' bathroom, I suppose. Well, that's what I've kind of designed it around. So this one being the parents' bathroom, I'm trying to give it a bit more of, I'd say, a romantic and you know, adult look to it. So I do like straight away I knew I wanted to put some fancy tiles in there. The sort of archway, I don't know what to call them really, like table shelves, they are from the Sims resource. They're like from like, not like a cave set, but they look like, you know, they were going for some sort of cave effect. But you know, when recoloured in wood or anything else, they look quite nice as just, you know, sort of more interesting storage. So I used the cacti from the Hacienda set. They are again some of my favourite plants. Really can highly recommend that set. And it comes with a ice cream maker and I think it's like a deep fat fryer or something, which are a bit odd, but you know, your Sims can use them. They're not just decoration. And there's a lot of really pretty items with that set. And I just thought it went really well with this theme. And then I'm just playing around with some tile. I know they've got tile on the wall, tile on the floor, but I think it's just you know, a little bit more sophisticated to have all of these different sort of patterns going on, as long as they've got kind of similar colours used, which I've gone for, like, you know, the orange which is drawn from the wood, and then the blue which is drawn from the floor tiles, and a bit of the wall tile, and then just decorating with a few more like little blue accents like the little towels. So here we're doing what I have dubbed as the kids room. I love this tile pattern, absolutely love it. In the end I use it on just the floor. I know it looks at the moment like I'm using it on both, and you know, you could do that, but it's just a bit extra, so I've toned it down a lot. I've gone with like a kind of, I want to say peachy pink on the walls, just because that kind of colour is in those tiles. I'm drawing out of it, and then just the rest of the coloration that I use on the like cabinets again is sort of using the similar colours from that tile. I just think if you use similar colours from something in the room, like whether it's that you're inspired by just a rug that you've used and it's got some blues and greens, then, you know, accessorising and using those other colours in the room is just gonna, you know, complement it, and it'll go really well. The mirror is a little bit of like a statement piece in there, I'd say, just because there's no other colours like that in the room, but because it's a kids room, bit of fun element, it's got an elephant on it, I thought, yeah, it's probably the best thing. And yeah, that's their room done. Now moving on to the kitchen. So you may have noticed the kitchen is a lot smaller than the other rooms relative to the rest of the house anyway, and this is the plan I've come up with. So some more tiles, more pops of colour with maybe some flowers, and some shelving rather than sort of cabinets, just to, you know, give it a more open feel. I think open shelving when you've got a small room is the best thing. I mess around with the layout so much. I was being really stubborn at first because I like that little breakfast nook table. I'm like, where do I put it? How do I put it in there? But in the end, it has to go because the room is just too small. So as I was just shuffling everything about, moved that, and then I thought, actually, let's put sort of an island in with some bar stools, and ditch the breakfast nook completely. That's gone. And, you know, just using the Hacienda kitchen sort of cabinet aisle. I've gone with a totally different arrangement. So here as well, I've decided this is where I'm going to put my open shelving. Like that shelf is CC. I think it was like an industrial set from the Sims resource. And I just think, you know, it's really nice to clutter that sort of thing up, and just yeah, if you use wall cabinets and it's a small room, it can just feel a little bit cramped. So you know, that's why I changed it up. And then the wall here where I'm doing a backsplash, that is a wall from the university set. I use that a lot because the you know, segments of the wallpaper sort of where you can repattern it is a lot different to other walls. So yeah, it just gives you that height to put the backsplash on. And I think where, you know, you can literally just start the shelving above it, looks really nice actually. And I went with a sort of more rustic wood pattern, just because I think it just gives it the room a bit more character. And from the get-go, I always knew I wanted to put in some blue cabinets. So those cabinets are from Pet Life, or whatever they called it. I use them cabinets all the time. They're my favourite. They've just got a little bit more detail than a lot of the other ones, which I think is like a little bit posher, to be fair, so I do like those. And now just putting in sort of a small runner, just because, you know, it might be nice to stand on a rug instead of a colder floor when you're doing all the washing it, because genuinely that's what I have in my real house, because no one wants to stand on a cold floor while doing a chore they don't want to do anyway. So I've put in some kind of fancy lighting. I like that lighting, which is again more custom content. I do really like custom content. There was for very many years I resisted it, but I think Sims 4's been out for ages. I just don't think anyone cares as much what's in your game, and I'm just well aware that I don't upload you know, projects I've done with CC onto the regular Sims exchange, which I do like to do. So you know, having CC in a game just makes it more difficult to get a CC free creation, but you know, if you're just doing it for yourself or whatever, it, you know, just doesn't give like your room an added element of detail that it couldn't have had before, to be fair. So yeah, and just adding in some flowers. So that's the finished kitchen, and now moving on to the nursery. So here we have the very, I don't even know what colour it is, like a reddy salmon sort of coloured bedroom, and they, even though it's their child's a baby right now, they put in a child's bed. I think it's because the mum, Marissa, she doesn't have a lot of time for anything apart from her career, so that she's probably like preparing in advance for her, you know, child to grow up, and then they don't have to go shopping for a bed because it's already in the room. They just have to chuck out the cot, or maybe they're planning on having 2 children, and that's hinting that, you know, once one of them's grown up a bit, they're gonna want to have another child. So that might be the plan. So I've kept the you know, child's bed and the cot so that they can continue with whatever their, you know, plan might be, and I use that CC like kids drawing pictures as well. I think they're really, really cute. You know, I do think like that sort of thing would be normal to put up in a room if you have kids. To be fair, most people put them up all over the house, so you know, this is a bit more restrained with it just being in the actual child's bedroom, and there isn't much sign actually of the child stuff in any of the other rooms. I didn't delete it, I haven't added it either, so I guess the parents really want it to be like, this is the child's room and this is where all their stuff is and toys, and I mess around with the colours of this pattern for ages. I don't know if you also find with the colour wheel that you don't always know what colour things are going to come out when you're changing the colour on the patterns. So sometimes you can like point the colour at the blue colour, and that means that one of the little mice's dress will be blue but the other one goes bright purple. You just don't know what you're going to get. So yeah, it takes me ages to you know, figure that out and find something that I'm happy with. The little sort of baby changing unit that I use there is from the Sims 3 store. It's like a nursery set. I really love that set. I think that's really worth getting. Just gives you something for the babies, which there isn't a lot of in the game, so at least there is that option. And the hot air balloon isn't from Around Sims, and it isn't from Sims Resource. I found it like after scrolling through a million people's Tumblrs, and yeah, I just came across it and I thought it was really cute, so I've used that in this room as well, just to give it a little bit of something different anyway. And now we're just moving on to the finished finishing touches. So you know, a few more toys. I love that little xylophone, and then these cute CC lambs, which I tend to put in a lot of the kids' rooms these days because they're just ultra cute as well. And I always loved that little giraffe. I think that came with Generations. So now it's time to reveal the new space to the Ross family. So, oh dear, Marissa, she's not looking that happy, but I'm not sure if that's anything to do with the home makeover. I mean, I hope not, but yeah, let's just show you the what it looked like before and what it looks like after, and yeah, you can let me know what you think anyway. So if you remember before, it was quite dingy, they had a lot of empty unused space, and yeah, you know, it could have been laid out a bit better. The colours were all a bit dull, and yet now I've just gone and put a million lights in, and yeah, they can actually see their house, so regardless of what it looks like, that's an improvement. But you know, the living room, it's got like some nice little pops of colour that it definitely was lacking before. So yeah, there's all those elements that you saw me put in. If you you know, like what I've done, please leave me a comment. You know, if you've got any more tips and tricks that I don't use and I could learn, then please let me know. I might have been playing this game for a long time, but I still learn things every day. So yeah, I just really want to know what you think. If you liked it, please subscribe, because then you will get a notification that the next episode's going live. Thanks for watching, and yeah, just hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks, bye.